Abu Zura Razi said to the effect that if people read Sunan Ibn Majah, most or all of the other, secondary Islamic sources would be, by secondary, I mean other than the Quran, would become unneeded or, not necessary. It's good to have all the collections that exist passed on, but you know what he meant. And he also said that less than 20 of the narrations were contested amongst what was therein. Narration 173 is how the Khawarij are as the dogs of hell. And we know, for example, the Khawarij fought both those whom the Shia and the Sunni looked up to. But we know in particular that the Shia, as a sect, arose against the Khawarij. But yeah, they were a bunch of extremist reformers, basically. 176 indicates that they're the worst of the killed. And the best of those that are killed are by, of those that are killed by these dogs of hell. And we find that right now you can go on pilgrimage and be killed for being an Islamic scholar. There's a certain country, of course, and the country that you do that in, except for the pilgrimage to Jerusalem, which is, the lesser pilgrimage, but it's not the Umar, but you know what I mean, a different, there's more laws against the teaching and practice of Islam in that country. And people are like, well, they're really strict. No, well, they're not strict about Islamic law. That's the thing. And regarding Surah 50, Ayat 39, we have that narration explaining how on the Day of Judgment, we won't have to crowd to see God, much how we don't have to crowd to see the sun or the moon. And, there won't be any inconvenience of that. Not that God would be seen in the way that another creation would be seen. It's just, the way of explaining it. The next narration is shorter, and 179 is of pointing out the, like unto the moon or not being, there not being clouds around to see it. Or the sun, of course, the pairing and duality, and is, of course, going beyond that. It's just, people's like, well, the sun and the moon are different things, and so they're thinking about them slightly differently. So that's, good reason to mention both of those things. In regards to 11:18 and 36:58, we turn to narration 183. Of course, I'm commenting rather than translating or relating exactly how it is. Of course, I will read some of the narrations. I guess some of the past ones, I had trouble speaking, but you put together things quicker and you get... But this was a question about the najwa, or the secret conversation that God has with the individual servant, where the devotee is concealed and confesses completely, and God forgives. But the hypocrite, the disbeliever, they're, not concealed. There's more witnessing, you could say. And I meant to say that in the next narration, it was 36:58 that's talked about. That wasn't talked about in the previous. And the peaceful greetings will be extended between the people of paradise. And God will still be exalted over them. But the greatest thing of the paradise hereafter is the direct, unadulterated, other ways you can put it, experience of the light of God. Narration 185 talks about how we will, we'll come to the time, we're going to be full of question and all that, where we won't see anything before us except, the karma, the results of the good deeds and the good consciousness or right consciousness that we have set before them. So even a little piece of fruit or something, put that forward to protect yourself from the fire of the hereafter. Because you want to be the people of the previous narration that God sends peace upon you directly with the scroll in your right hand, like